Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about Cleopatra. Let's learn about its history and legacy for humanity. The story of Cleopatra is a fascinating saga of power and seduction set in ancient Egypt during the Hellenistic period. Cleopatra II, known as Cleopatra, was the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty of Egypt, reigning from 51 BC until her death in 30 BC. Cleopatra was born in 69 BC in the city of Alexandria, Egypt. Alexandria was a cosmopolitan and culturally rich city at the time, being a center of trade, learning, and intellectual activity in the Hellenistic world. As a member of the Ptolemaic dynasty, Cleopatra was born into a family of Greek origin that ruled Egypt after the death of Alexander the Great. She ascended the throne along with her younger brother, Ptolemy XIII, after the death of their father, Ptolemy XII. However, the relationship between the brothers quickly deteriorated, and Cleopatra was forced to flee into exile. Determined to regain her throne, Cleopatra formed an alliance with Roman leader Julius Caesar, visiting him in Rome in 48 BC. She is said to have arrived on a Persian carpet and was presented to Caesar in impressive fashion. Her relationship with Caesar not only restored his power in Egypt, but also resulted in the birth of her son, Ptolemy XV, known as Caesarion. After Caesar's death in 44 BC, Cleopatra returned to Egypt, where she became involved in a complicated game of alliances with Roman leaders. She later became romantically involved with Roman general Mark Antony during the Second Roman Triumvirate, which was formed after Caesar's death. Cleopatra and Mark Antony formed a political and romantic partnership, which resulted in Cleopatra's rise to the status of co-ruler of vast areas of the Eastern Mediterranean. There were important achievements for Egypt during Cleopatra's rule, including internal stability. Cleopatra worked to stabilize Egypt politically during her reign. She faced internal challenges, including revolts and conspiracies against her government, and managed to maintain control over the country for most of her reign. Economic development. Under Cleopatra's reign, Egypt experienced a period of economic development. She invested in infrastructure projects such as irrigation canals and ports to improve agriculture and trade, increasing the country's wealth. Promotion of Egyptian culture. Cleopatra valued Egyptian culture and supported local artists, intellectuals, and philosophers. She also engaged in Egyptian religious practices and rituals, strengthening her image as a legitimate ruler in the eyes of the Egyptian people. Territorial expansion. Although she made no major territorial conquests, Cleopatra maintained control over areas traditionally associated with Egypt, as well as parts of the Eastern Mediterranean region. Her alliance with Roman leaders, such as Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, helped ensure the security of the Egyptian borders. Lasting cultural legacy. Cleopatra's patronage of Egyptian culture and her role as the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty had a lasting impact on Egypt's history and identity. She is remembered as an iconic figure in Egyptian and world history, whose reign left a significant legacy in art, politics, and culture. However, the relationship between Cleopatra and Mark Antony triggered a series of events that culminated in the Battle of Actium in 31 BC, where Mark Antony's forces were defeated by the army led by Octavian, future Emperor Augustus, Caesar's heir. After their defeat, Cleopatra and Mark Antony died in 30 BC, and Egypt was then annexed to the Roman Empire. Cleopatra is remembered for her political intelligence, beauty, and diplomatic skills. Her life has been a source of inspiration for countless literary, artistic, and cinematographic works over the centuries. Cleopatra's importance today lies mainly in her historical and cultural legacy, which continues to influence different areas of society. Here are some ways Cleopatra is still relevant in modern times. Cultural inspiration. Cleopatra continues to inspire artists, writers, filmmakers, and musicians. Her fascinating story, full of intrigue, love, and tragedy, serves as material for countless works of art, films, plays, novels, and songs. Women in leadership. As one of the most prominent women leaders in history, Cleopatra is often cited as an example of female leadership. Her reign challenges gender stereotypes and demonstrates that women can also wield political power and influence. Historical studies. The study of Cleopatra's life and reign continues to be an important area of research for historians and archaeologists. Her story sheds light on the politics, culture, and international relations of the ancient world, providing valuable insights into the Hellenistic period and the interactions between Egypt and Rome. Diplomacy and international relations. Cleopatra's relationships with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony highlight the importance of diplomacy and political alliances in world history. Her role as a central figure in events that shaped the ancient Mediterranean world is still studied as an example of the complexities of international relations. Egyptian identity. Cleopatra is an emblematic figure of Egyptian identity and continues to be a source of pride for many Egyptians. Her patronage of Egyptian culture and her role as the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty highlight her as a significant figure in Egyptian history. Although Cleopatra lived more than 2 millennia ago, her influence continues to this day, demonstrating the lasting impact that certain historical figures can have on collective consciousness and global culture. So guys, that was it. Thank you for watching the video. I ask you to please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Until later.